Today, the topic is more theoretical than practical, and we'll try to discuss the ways of application and how the application of BioWell can be somehow changed through in the practice or for private use in your life. Well, let's go with the very short presentation, and I will share my thoughts about different levels of application of BioWell, depending on your level of education and depending on the sphere of application of the BioWell in your life. My name is Dmitry Miterlov, for those who haven't seen me personally, and I'm general manager of the BioWell company in Europe, and I will talk about different applications and different levels of applications of BioWell. Well, we need to start from the beginning, from the definitions. So if I ask you, what is BioWell? And if I would ask you to give some definition, what will be your answer? But I know that there are multiple ways to explain what is BioWell about. And from the most sophisticated to the most simple. And actually, this is the way the technology was developing through all these years. Initially, when all this sphere has only started developing the gas discharge visualization technology, well, even just to say this term is quite a sophisticated process, and not many people really understand what stands behind this term gas discharge visualization. So you know that the most difficult answer, what is BioWell, will contain notion of quantum physics, because actually when we are talking about the Kirlian photography, we are talking about quantum processes like excitation of air molecules or extraction of electrons from the conductive tissue like your fingertips, for example. These are all quantum physics processes. And that even until now, even in 2025, there are still many people, many scientists even, who are stating that Kirlian photography or GDV is about amplification of biophotons that the human body is emitting by default. So it means that BioWell is simply creating some specific conditions in which these biophotons are emitted more intensely than in regular condition. So if we talk about overall process, this quantum physics process, in modern physics, it's all understandable. So you don't need to talk about any special biofield or some aura or something like that. You can clearly understand the physics standing behind the process, because it's not only your finger that can be captured in Kirlian photography and BioWell, but any conductive object. That, of course, it's not a living object. It doesn't have living cells, so it doesn't have any biophotons. But we have same emission as from the finger. So it means that biophotons are not playing significant role here. The main process is about extraction of electrons from the conductive object just because of the difference in electrical potential. And then, due to the fact that the process is going on in air, not in vacuum, we see the process of striking and transferring the energy from the electrons to the air molecules. And then we get this excitation of air molecules, then relaxation of air molecules that emit light through the relaxation. And relaxation is a quantum physics term, meaning the return of the atom molecule to the ground state from which the excitation happened and then relaxation happened. You see, it's quite a sophisticated definition. If your client will come and ask you about what is BioWell, and you will start explaining all these things, people will get tired very fast. I'm not sure that they will understand even half of these words, because not everyone has this level of education in quantum physics. So people will not get it. So this definition actually is good. It really defines what's going on in BioWell, but most of the people will not understand it. So we can transfer to another group of definitions through the Oriental medicine, acupuncture point systems. So we will not talk about the quantum physics. We'll just say that the emission from the fingers depends on the acupuncture points on each fingertip, and depending to which organ or system this particular point is connected, the emission will be bigger or smaller. So we will talk in BioWell mainly about measurement of energy, stress, and balance, because we're measuring two hands, so we can calculate the balance. And well, stress is our own definition of stress in BioWell. It's a integral stress, not a psychological, but a psychological plus physiological. Energy is just the amount of light that has been emitted. if you explain how the Bible works from this point of view, talking about mainly the acupuncture points, these connections through meridians with different organs and systems, I think it may work and make it people some bigger percentage, much bigger than quantum physics definition. Let's assume 5% of people will understand what you're talking about because they had heard about the meridians, the acupuncture point systems, maybe chakras or centers, etc. But again, most of the people still will not get it, what Biwell is about. Because energy, tell me, what is energy? What kind of energy we're measuring? People are not used to these terms. People are not used to talk about balance of what? How can be there is only one liver? How can be a balance of liver? There are two kidneys. We can understand balance between left and right kidney, but how can be a balance for heart or for the liver? We have grown up. I don't think there are 10 years old or even 15 years old, even 20 years old people in the room. So most of the people have grown up when smartphones were not there yet. The internet was just beginning and evolving and not affordable to everyone. So we have been visiting doctors and hospitals and polyclinics just from time to time, and most of the doctors didn't talk about energy. Our parents didn't talk about energy, only if they were traditional Chinese medicine doctors or Ayurvedic doctors. But if we talk about most part of the people in the country, they were not even introduced to this terminology. We are not used actually to think about a human body from the point of energy, balance, and even stress. When you were visiting doctor in your childhood with your parents, well, they were measuring temperature, they were measuring blood pressure, maybe they were doing some cardiogram or encephalogram. That's it. Well, you can pass these blood tests, urine tests. That's it. That's what we are used to. And nowadays, when we talk about energy, I say, but I don't understand what it is about. So unfortunately, even though you give the definition about measuring energy and measuring balance, again, most of the modern people will not understand. That's what Biwell was struggling with for many years. We need to somehow explain what we're doing to the audience, to the people. So then the third generation of explanation has evolved and appeared through the lifestyle. So we forget about all these difficult terms from quantum physics, from Oriental medicine, and we just say that Biwell is just a lifestyle analysis tool. It allows us to analyze your lifestyle and see where are the weakest points for you in particular. That's it. I think all of the people will understand this definition. No matter what kind of education you have, you will get it, right? So based on these different definitions, we can say that there are different levels of use of the Bible. So let's round it up once again. So 3 levels, from the most difficult ones with quantum physics, then to acupuncture point system and Oriental medicine, and then coming to the simplest, the lifestyle. So how do we use Biwell then? Most of you are Biwell users already with practice of several months or several years even. So you know that the main 2 types of analysis that we use in Biwell are diagnostics. When a person comes to you, to your office, and you try to make those scans and try to analyze the current state of the person and understand what are the main problems for this person. One application. Second application, you don't really care what's actually going on now with this person. You just need to show that, for example, your practice that you are applying is working. So you are using before and after type of analysis. So you do the initial scan. You don't need to do the absolute analysis, what is right and what is wrong for the person, but then you do the practice, some therapy, and then you scan the person again after the therapy. And you just compare 2 scans and you see the difference. So you analyze only the difference between before and after, looking at what has reacted to your therapy. You're doing some psychological practice or hypnotherapy or something like that. You mainly work with the analysis tab and the chakras or nervous center tab. That's it. You are doing some kind of therapy on a somatic level, then you will go into those organs and systems, balances. You may also apply the lifestyle analysis tab. And if you have some knowledge about Ayurveda or traditional Chinese medicine, you can go to those meridians, the yin yang tab, or chakras, etc. Or doshas. It's up to you. So these are the 2 ways of application that all of you know, I think, already. And this is the way Biwell has been used by most of the people until now. And of course, the problem with both of them and the struggle about both of these approaches was constantly about how many times should we scan? Should we scan once? Should we scan twice? Should we scan 3 times? But people want it fast, right? They come just, okay, in one go. One visit, I want to know it all. You need to do everything right here, right now, and give me the result. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You see that people are used to visit a doctor once. And I visit you, and you give me all the information in one go. Just make everything that you need, do all types of tests you want, and just give me the result here right now. And people want it fast. They really are thinking in this way. This is the way the mindset of modern people is built. Why it is happening like that? It is because for centuries, there was only one way to get some service from the doctor. It's just like you pay once, you visit the doctor once, and you need to get it fixed right here, right now. Only rich people were able to have their personal doctor who is visiting them frequently. That's why people still think about visiting doctors as do it fast. I just, okay, I need to go to neurologist. Just, okay, I'll visit once and they will tell me everything in one go. I go to cardiologist, they do their cardiogram and they give me the result, etc. So that's the way the mind works. So because with the development of the monitoring tools, only now we have a time of change of the mindset in terms of treating the health and monitoring our health state and wellness. Because we have those wellness tools with all those gadgets in our smartphones, we are able to do some tracking and monitoring. So it means that we can buy those smartwatches or some headbands that can read the ECG, or there are even bands for the torso that are writing down the cardiogram 24/7 for 7 days a week, and then you can analyze what was happening through all the week non-stop with you. So only with the appearance of these new gadgets and new technologies, it has become possible to do such kind of monitoring. But previously, as you can see on this picture, monitoring of your state could have been done only by family doctor. But once again, only rich people were able to get this kind of service. So only rich people were understanding that in order to be healthy, you need your personal doctor to constantly monitor your state and the state of your family members. So these doctors should come and visit you several times a month or once a week or something like that, depending on race, time, etc. And but all other people, 99% of population, didn't have this kind of service. They were not used to monitor their state. So they were used to wait till something will start aching and only then go to the doctor if it's no longer bearable and they can no longer stand pain. And this is already built in our mindset, in our DNA, the way our grandfathers and grandmothers lived, great-grandfathers, etc. For centuries. They were living like that. And we have seen our parents living like that, and now we are also automatically trying to live the same way. But the thing is that path towards real health and real wellness is lying in monitoring the state. It means that you need to scan and you need to analyze the state of the person not once, but multiple times. And it's better to do it not in one day, but different days. It's good to collect the data for a week, a month. It's good to collect in the morning, in the daytime, in the evening, etc. Like I have said already about HRV, heart rate variability devices, those wearables, so that you can stick them on your chest and live with them non-stop for 24 hours for 7 days a week. Of course, the amount of data collected about you and your real life and your real health state is enormous. Only by applying this kind of monitoring approach, it is possible to actually understand what's going on with you in terms of health and wellness, and it makes much easier for doctor or therapist to find how to help you in the most effective way. So, of course, monitoring it's about repeating multiple scans under different conditions as many times as possible. And if we talk about BioWell, because BioWell is one of these modern gadgets that gives us the opportunity to do this monitoring of state. And of course, with the development of even BioWell technology, this monitoring can be made easier with every year and with the development of the technology. Of course, when we talk about one-time visit, we are talking about absolute value, energy, stress, balance, and we talk about our average energy is 5.5, or 55 if it's overall energy. Your stress level is like 2.3, your balance is this, etc. But it's a one-time visit. So in one visit, it's difficult. It's quite a sophisticated task to do these complete analysis from different levels of, and from different perspectives to understand the actual state of the person. That's why in our standard level 1 BioWell pass, we are explaining to BioWell users that in order to really understand the health and wellness state of the person, you need to check the adaptability reserves. You need to check somehow these adaptation processes of the person. How? We are proposing to make some exercises, stress tests. So you want to check the brain function or the lung function, you hold the breath, and you do the scans before and after. And you see how the body is reacting to holding the breath and not breathing for 30, 40 seconds, something like that. And you can provoke some specific system through the acupuncture points. You can take the needle, you can put it in this point designated and associated with pancreas and scan with the BioWell before and after and see the reaction of pancreas to this kind of provocation. So you will have to make many tests. If you want to test all the systems in the body, all the meridians, oh well, it will take quite a lot of time. So of course, it's really time consuming to do all this in one go. But as we have talked earlier, people are used to do everything in one go for generations. And only now, people, with the use of gadgets and smartphones and other wellness tools, the mindset is slowly changing with people, and people start understanding that they need to monitor their state within time, like rich people have been doing for centuries. So now, even for masses, these kind of services have become available because, well, actually, buying a smartphone is not a big deal. There are many applications on your smartphone that gives you the opportunity to analyze your state even without any additional gadget. You just apply your finger to the torch on the smartphone and it reads your blood condition, pulse rate, or something else. There are some technologies where you just watch your smartphone through the front camera, and by analyzing the movement of your face through the bloodstream also, I think so, it can give different parameters of your wellness and your even health status. So these technologies have become much more affordable nowadays. You see that with the BioWell Pro that we are like BioWell 3, it's possible to use it in our offices, but in order to get this monitoring feature, you will have to scan many times the person when they come to you. Or you will have to say, instead of paying for one visit, you can buy a plan. So you will have 10 visits, you just pay some kind of for this monitoring plan, and this person, the client, patient, will have prepaid 10 visits to you. So then you can guarantee that within 10 visits, the results will be there and the accuracy of your diagnosis and the analysis of the state will be much higher because you can invite the person to come in the first half of the day, in the second half of the day, in the evening, etc., in different days, after different events, etc. And you can run those stress tests one by one. In one visit, you do one set of tests, and in the second visit, you do other types of tests. So you will have the opportunity to analyze the person's state based on multiple scans. Even in one visit, you have to do those multiple scans in order to analyze the state of the person properly. I think NATO is teaching everyone that you should never rely your analysis on one scan. Well, for example, if you take the tonometer, the device that allows you to measure the blood pressure, I think most of you use it in the wrong way, and even most of the doctors use it in the wrong way, so they do only one measurement and that's it, because we all want it fast, right? But in fact, if you read the manual of this device, you will see that in order to get proper and accurate results, you have to repeat this scan, the measurement, 3 times in sitting position and 3 times in standing position. And only then you can have more or less accurate results. Well, but most of us, they do only once. Same story about BioWell. I know that many people try to do only one scan and try to do the interpretation. No, we are teaching everyone that it shouldn't be once. I'm sorry, I need to make a Brazilian break presented by Neto in, I think, from one of the first seminars on BioWell, or even not before BioWell, GD cameras. So let's continue with the topic. Of course, we need to understand that monitoring is about repeating scans. And in BioWell, we have this comparison mode, right? We can do this compare, and for example, in lifestyle tab, we can see these changes of for different lifestyle, how the oscillation is going on. And we can see that the average values are different for people and with different analysis and different lifestyle. And we can see that the deviation of each of the spheres of the lifestyle is different. While one can be very narrow and very stable, other one can be very unstable. And well, this kind of curve that I have written here on drawn on the screen, I see it's like a lifestyle portrait. The more straight and vertical the curve is, the better you are, and closer it is to 100%, the better it is. But of course, we have different lifestyles, we have different good and bad fields in our lifestyle, so that's why our curves are different. We look at the average values. But unfortunately, as I have started this topic today, people are afraid of deviation. First of all, some people even don't know exactly what this word means, but this variability of getting results really scares some people. They think that if they see this kind of instability in results, it is because of the tool, the camera, that is scanning not so precisely and accurately. And they don't want to think that it's because of their state. I know even some therapists who are afraid of deviation, and they think that, oh no, it means that Bi-Well doesn't work if you can scan the person multiple times in a row and you get some variability in the results. I think even if you give a cardiogram to these kind of doctors, they say, hey, why it is not a straight line? Why there's some kind of oscillation? It doesn't look good. Joking. But if people are afraid of these oscillations and these deviations, well, I think it's very hard for them to really be a good therapist. Because life is about adaptation, non-stop, constant adaptation. So of course, and we are a complex living system that is constantly changing the multiple parameters that we have in our organism, because we consist of so many compartments. Even if we take just the body and the soul, or the psyche, it's already a big deal and a big mess. And while they are confronting each other, conflicting sometimes, etc., your unconscious and conscious ways of behavior are not similar, etc. So of course we are not so stable. We can't be stable. But depending on the lifestyle and depending on the mindset, our stability can increase. So of course, if you find someday a person for whom all the spheres of the lifestyle will be close to 90 or even 100%, and able, no matter what, no matter how many times you scan this person, excellent, perfect. That's the way to go, actually. But most of us are regular people. We are not sitting and meditating non-stop every day to maintain this kind of balance in order to have the ups and equal readings one by one. That's life. So if you are using Bi-Well, you should not be scared and afraid of deviation. Deviation is your friend. Actually, all the Bi-Well technology is about this deviation and monitoring. So the main terms of this lecture are monitoring, deviation, or variation, if you like it more, and average. Because when you conduct multiple scans, first of all, you can see which parameters or which spheres, which meridians, which chakras, which doshas, etc. Doesn't matter which tab you open in the software, which of them have higher deviation or lower deviation. And additionally to that, also where is the average for this particular parameter. So actually, the main sense of application of the Bi-Well is about looking into deviation and average values. These are the main two parameters for actual analysis of the wellness of the person, because it is a dynamic process. Without deviation and average, it's hard to really understand how a person actually lives and feels him or herself. So I really think that you need to start applying this in your practice. And in the next generation of our software, we will be changing the interface of the software so that these values like deviation and variability and average values will be shown on every tab in our software. So you will always see where the average is for this particular person for the previous scans made. So the more scans you make, the more precise will be the result. We are going also to present a new value called the accuracy of the analysis. And if you make only 1 or 2 scans, the accuracy will never be higher than 50%. So, of course, if you do many scans under different types of conditions and different types of stress tests, the accuracy grid will increase and you can go closer to 90, 95%. The 100 is not affordable for sure. So you know that in Biowall software we have talked about this during seminars about these average values and deviations, and you can clearly see the difference in readings one by one, consecutive readings for a stable person that you see in the top left corner and unstable person, psychologically unstable person in the bottom right corner. It's obvious in the current moment in our software there is no value that will show you the level of variability and where is the average. But in the next generation of our software, it will be there. As you know, we have started working on this years ago. I don't clearly remember how long ago it was when we have presented a new feature in the software called Tracker. So now we have this lifestyle tab, right? And we will be also tracking these lifestyle spheres in time but in our software. The Tracker program, well, has appeared 4 years ago. I don't remember exactly. But this is the place where you can see these values, and this line is showing you the average for the person within time. So you can select the period in which you can see where this person stands in terms of stress and energy. At the current moment, we have only two parameters in the tracker, active, and you can see this average graph showing where you are, right? In the next release of the Biowall software, we will try to apply this tracker tracking and monitoring approach to all the tabs. What does it mean? It means that if you open the Inian tab, it will show you the oscillation of 12 meridians in time with their values, energy and balance, because we have only two values for each meridian. But then you will be able to see how these values oscillate and variate through time, and you can see the average value and variability. So please don't be afraid of this terminology. I'm really thinking that this is where the whole world is going now, and where we all want to go is to be able to track our states in real time, to be able to understand what's going on with us, and make some preventive steps. We don't want to wait till the illness will happen, and we will have to waste a lot of time and money on dealing with acute stage of illness. So, if you want to conclude, I was talking about these different levels of understanding the software. You can use this lifestyle approach, and you don't need to think about which spheres of lifestyle are connected to which ingredients, doshas, nervous centers, specific organs and systems. You can stay on this superficial level. It already works. The only thing that you will have to do is repeat the scans multiple times to have these average values and variability values calculated. Then the software will be able to help you and tell you which sphere is the most unstable or with the lowest average value. You see that we are understanding that people are going in this direction, and that's why we have created this device called Biowall Mini that is working with a smartphone and will make it possible for more people to really get into this mindset of monitoring the state. It will allow you to apply the concept of telemedicine. You as a therapist, you don't have to ask the person to come to your office. They can have their own, they can rent the Biowall Mini, and they can do the scans under the conditions that you will ask people to do, even if they are on the other side of the planet. And they will share the results with you through the Biowall system, and you will analyze everything in your Biowall software. So as long as this device will be much cheaper than Biowall Pro, then it will allow you to apply this monitoring concept better. And it will allow you to track the condition of your patient, not 24/7, but in a much more stable and periodic way. So I would like to thank you for your attention.